Amr and his mother had been living in the apartment for a month when some strange events began to occur. It seemed as though someone was calling out to him or his mother, even though he found her asleep. He also noticed that he was the only one hearing the voices. He decided to get his hearing tested, and they placed headphones on his ears. The doctor asked him what he was hearing, and he told him about the sounds of a typing machine, a wireless signal, and unintelligible whispers. When he put on the headphones again, he heard a woman screaming, which hurt his ears. However, when he informed the doctor about it, the doctor completely denied it and proved him wrong. The doctor decided to prescribe him some medication, which had a strong effect on him to the point where he remained bedridden and unable to move much. Amr left his room and found his mother preparing the juice that he had consumed earlier. When he woke up, he thanked his mother for the juice, but she told him that she hadn't made any juice and asked him about the missing food in the fridge. He told her that he hadn't eaten it, but she didn't believe him. At night, when he woke up, he found his mother taking food out of the fridge. He offered to help her and she asked him to bring some onions from the balcony. However, when he returned, he couldn't find his mother or the food. What's more, his mother was sleeping in her bed. He brought a camera and set it to record mode, leaving it in the kitchen. In the morning, when he asked his mother what she had been doing in the kitchen at night, she asked him to go to a psychiatrist because his condition had worsened. He played the camera footage, and indeed his mother was preparing the juice and then getting rid of it, putting everything back as it was, while looking at the camera with terrifying looks and smiles. His mother left, and another man entered, but it was Amr himself. He opened the fridge and consumed rice with milk, but in a very greedy manner. Then he looked at the camera, took out a knife and a board, as if threatening anyone who was filming. Things went quietly for a month until one morning when he left his room and found his mother unconscious in front of the door. When she regained consciousness, she was in a difficult hysterical state. The neighbors came, and one of them said to her, "Give it some time, Nahed, and you'll get used to it." After she calmed down, she began to recount that it all started with feeling a heavy weight on her chest, making it difficult for her to even call her son. It was as if she was paralyzed, which frightened her a lot. However, she gradually regained her ability to move, but she was still very exhausted. During the afternoon, she entered to rest, trying to forget what had happened. However, there was someone behind her on the bed, whispering her name and saying many words. She was startled and couldn't scream until the silence fell. She rushed out of the room and decided not to sleep that night. At first, nothing happened, but suddenly voices started coming from under the bed, growing louder. Then the electricity went out, but strangely, there seemed to be electricity outside the room from under the door. It appeared as if someone was pacing back and forth outside the door. The screaming and calling for Amr began, but there was no response. The door opened and she tried to sneak out of the room. However, as soon as she put her feet on the floor, hands grabbed her from under the bed. They tried to pull her, and the hands felt scorching, burning her feet. She managed to free herself and crawled out of the room. But what she saw under the bed was even more horrifying. There was fire and people screaming, with eyes staring. Help arrived, and it was the dawn call to prayer that intensified their screams as if they were being tortured until their voices weakened, and the electricity came back. She lost consciousness. When she woke up, Amr was in front of her, and she was screaming, asking him to leave. Everyone tried to calm her down, and one of the neighbors told her, "It's okay, Nahed, give it some time, and it will be over. It was your turn." The mother left and was absent for a few days with her son to gather their things to leave for good. However, the neighbor, Avon, told her that she should hold on to her house because if she left, they would return. Perplexed, she asked for an explanation, as she didn't understand. Avon told her that everyone in the building had gone through terrifying experiences, but those who stayed in their places never encountered those things again, except for minor incidents. They planned to put pressure on the building owner so they wouldn't have to pay the remaining rent. He had sold the apartments and knew what was happening there. He couldn't even stay in his own ground floor apartment for more than 3 days. So they had to unite against him. And indeed, she was convinced by their words, as was Amar. They stayed in the apartment, sleeping together, and the sound of the Quran was heard from every corner of the house. Only minor incidents occurred, like hearing the voices, mostly coming from the bathroom. But until now, nobody knew the reason behind what was happening in that spot. And most likely, only the building owner knows the secret. Will there come a day when this man will reveal what he knows?